Raiders fans, get ready, because this next idea might sound crazy at first, but the numbers don't lie. What if the most overlooked wide receiver in the entire NFL right now is sitting quietly on the Las Vegas roster? What if this guy is about to explode for touchdowns nobody is expecting? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might change your mind completely about one player everyone keeps ignoring. Before we dive in, smash that subscribe button if you want the fastest Raiders updates on the planet. Let's talk about Jalen Nailor. Right now, almost nobody is talking about him, but there's real evidence that he could take a massive leap this season. Now, let's be clear. Nobody is saying he's about to become a top 15 receiver in the league. That's not the point. The point is this: there's a real chance his touchdowns, catches, and yards jump way higher than what we saw in Minnesota. Is this guaranteed? No. Think of it more like a thought experiment backed by real numbers. And once you see the pattern, you'll understand why the Raiders front office hasn't rushed to sign a big-name receiver, even though names like Deebo Samuel, Stefon Diggs, and Tyreek Hill are still out there. So here's a question for you. If you were running the Raiders, would you go out and sign one of those big names, or do you trust the guys already in the room? Drop your answer before we keep going. Now, some of those names come with baggage. Diggs and Hill have had their share of drama off the field. Deebo is a bit cleaner. But here's the truth about football. If a move makes your team better and helps your quarterback, teams usually make it happen. The fact that Las Vegas hasn't pulled the trigger yet tells you something. They believe in somebody already on the roster. Maybe it's Tre Tucker. Maybe it's Jalen Nailor. Maybe it's one of last year's rookies. Or maybe it's simply trusting offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak to scheme guys open instead of relying on one true number one receiver. That approach can work, but let's be honest, having a true alpha receiver never hurts a roster. Here's where things get interesting. A recent article pointed out that Nailor is being completely slept on. The Raiders receiver room took heavy criticism this offseason for lacking a true star, and most of that criticism ignored the upside sitting right in front of everyone. Nailor actually landed a 3-year, $35 million deal, which is a bold contract for a guy who has never even hit 30 catches in a single season. But here's the catch. He never got the chance to prove himself, buried behind Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison in Minnesota. Now in Las Vegas, the Raiders coaching staff has already been praising the current receiver room, with Tre Tucker getting singled out as a rising leader. And plenty of analysts asking whether Kubiak's offense even needs a traditional star receiver at all. Still, most of the league keeps repeating the same tired take, that the Raiders desperately need a veteran name, without actually looking at how that fits the roster or the offense they're building. But dig deeper into the advanced numbers, and Nailor's potential becomes obvious, especially against man coverage. According to Pro Football Focus, he ranked 18th in the entire league in yards per route run, and 7th among receivers with at least 20 targets against man coverage, averaging nearly 15 yards per target. With star tight end Brock Bowers drawing constant double coverage, Nailor could see a flood of one-on-one matchups all season long. One fantasy football analyst even named him a sleeper pick for this year after his move to a new team. And it makes sense. Nailor flashed real talent in limited chances, but he was never going to get a real opportunity long-term in Minnesota. Now, in Vegas, the path to targets is wide open. He and Tre Tucker are set up as the top two receivers on the roster, and Nailor's ability to line up outside the slot gives him more upside than anyone else in that room. Coming up, we are going to compare Nailor to two Raiders legends who made this exact same leap, and trust me, those comparisons might blow your mind. Let's talk about history for a second. Two names came to mind while researching this: Michael Crabtree and Nelson Agholor. Both players had modest success elsewhere before landing with the Raiders, and once they got there, they exploded in ways nobody expected. Back in 2012, Crabtree had a solid year with the 49ers, catching 85 passes for 1,000 yards and 9 touchdowns. He tore his Achilles, then joined the Raiders. In 2015, he posted 85 catches for 922 yards and 9 scores. By 2016, he hit 1,000 receiving yards with 8 touchdowns. Any real Raiders fan knows the truth. The number one receiver on that team wasn't Amari Cooper. It was Michael Crabtree. Then look at Nelson Agholor. In 2018, he had 64 catches and 4 touchdowns. In 2019, 59 catches and just 2 touchdowns. Then in 2020, only 48 catches, but 896 yards and 8 touchdowns, a 6-touchdown jump in a single year. Now compare that to Jalen Nailor. 28 catches, 414 yards, 6 touchdowns one season. 29 catches, 444 yards, for touchdowns the next, all with shaky quarterback play behind him. Crabtree and Agholor both left situations where they were the third option on their old teams. Once they became clear top 2 targets in Las Vegas, the touchdowns followed almost instantly. Opportunity, not just talent, drove that leap. Give Nailor a real featured role after years buried in a loaded Minnesota offense, and that same kind of touchdown spike is absolutely possible. So what's the realistic expectation here? Somewhere between an Agholor-style breakout, think 50 catches, 700 to 800 yards, and 5 or 6 touchdowns. Tre Tucker likely lands in a similar range, maybe a little more yardage. Add in Brock Bowers, who's a lock for another 1,000-yard season, and Ashton Jeanty, who projects as a 1,000-yard rusher, and suddenly it makes total sense why the front office didn't chase a big splashy receiver trade or free agent this offseason. They're building around what they already have, and they're trusting a veteran presence at quarterback in Kirk Cousins to hold things down while developing the future. Cousins has shown before he can get weapons rolling when given real playmakers and protection. There's a reason the front office feels comfortable letting this group develop naturally instead of overspending on a big-name receiver. And we haven't even mentioned the rookie class yet, guys who could steal representatives and change this entire equation once the season starts. So here's my real question for the comment section. Who ends up leading this Raiders receiver room in touchdowns this season? Nailor, Tucker, or a total surprise? Drop your prediction below, and let's see who nails it. Is this take guaranteed to happen? Not necessarily. But the numbers, the history, and the situation all point toward one thing. Jalen Nailor could be the most underrated breakout candidate in the entire NFL this year. Keep an eye on this one, because when the leap happens, you'll want to say you saw it coming first. If you enjoyed breaking this down, make sure you're subscribed so you never miss the next deep dive. Drop your predictions below, and we'll see you in the next one.